There it is, everybody. I'm going to try and make a little video here, and so you Texas guys can see some of the spots where I hang out. I just hope to, I was going to teach a little bit, but I'm making these videos the last 2 days, and when you all see them, if you get to see these videos, you'll see how amateuristic they are, but that's fine. You can see how we kind of hang out with the guys. I just spent about an hour talking to a few of the guys in White Castle, and one of the guys is pretty smart, intellectual. He's rich. He's a millionaire. He's interested in kind of like, he wants me to get involved in a Christian cooperative that he's going to do out of with some investors in Spain. This isn't the only rich guy I met. I met a guy worth about $100 million the other day, owns an old 99-year-old Jewish guy. I'm actually not going to accept any offers of any financial help for anything. I had a church in Texas that wanted to support me right before I took this trip. Now I'm going to almost be here a month as I'm making this video, and there's a reason I don't want to do that. Is I want to give the example in the discussion we had over there. My friend Jules, he had some questions, and whenever people are talking about issues, he had some questions about social justice and a lot of things. So we talked a lot of history, a lot of politics, some physics, some science, and it helps to know some of these categories. That way when you're talking to people, and then it segues into Christianity, and you quote scripture, then they listen. So that's how these discussions go. I just was in White Castle right across the street for about an hour and a half talking to a few guys. And we even got, my friend Jules asked me, he said, John, and he's a Catholic Christian, he's said, I don't want just the priest to bless me. One of his criticisms of the church are he felt like there should be more action, not just saying, I bless you, and then I would quote. And I said, you know, James, the half-brother of Jesus, wrote one letter in the New Testament. And by the way, I've been quoting the book of James a lot. And then I quoted James. James in the book of James says, if a brother or sister comes to you and is hungry or destitute, and you simply say, be warmed and filled, God bless you, but you do not give them the things that are needful for the body, what doth it profit? And then James says, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. So then I started quoting, and Jules will be involved in the conversation. I also quoted John chapter 6, which happens to be the main chapter of Catholic theology, according to Scott Hahn and other Catholic theologians, because it speaks about Jesus as the bread of life. It's a Eucharistic chapter, but I quoted from John's Gospel chapter 6, where Jesus said he fed the multitudes, then they followed him. I think it's chapter 6, I could be wrong. And the next day, when the multitudes followed Jesus, he said, do you just follow me because I fed you? He says, don't seek just for the bread that perishes, but strive for the bread that endures to everlasting life. Saying, I'm not just here to help you, to feed you, and I gave a criticism of sort of like charitable ministries, which I work with. If they're just giving you free food every day and you never move beyond that, then it's not beneficial. So I'm giving a little example how I was quoting a lot of chapters, talking about, we got into Che, the revolutionary communism. I told my friend Jules, who's very knowledgeable, he talked about the concept. He wants to start a co-op with some investors, and he wants me to be involved with it. But I asked him, I said, do you know where the concept came from? The actual word communism, communal, Acts chapter 2 or 3, the early church, they sold all their goods, distributed to one another, and that's where the concept came from. Now, it's not worked out well. Marx and Lenin tried it, and it didn't work out well. But the concept was everybody's going to share with everybody else. And then I talked about where the word utopia comes from, and Thomas More I believe I'm getting this right, that one of the bishops, Catholic leaders during the time of the Protestant Reformation, More was a martyr for not denying the Catholic faith. And he wrote a book, and it was a fictional book about a community of people as Christians who lived on an island, and they all shared, and that's where the word utopia comes from. The name of the island from the book from Thomas More, this you're talking 600 years ago, was called Utopia. Well, that's where we get the term utopian vision. This Catholic man, Thomas More, had a vision of Christians living in co-ops. Now, all of this history, and quoting it and talking about it and mixing it in with scripture and world events, this helps people to be engaged in the conversation. I was going to do some of these videos and just talk about and do some teaching. I've been trying to cover on this trip, I was trying to cover some of the stuff I taught on the website this last year, but a lot of the meetings, a lot of the talking and discussions are just like this. So I got up early today. I walked a little bit. I went to White Castle. Now I'm going to head over to Burger King. I'll talk with some other people over there, meet interesting people. But the conversations almost always turn to some type of a talk about Christianity, about Scripture, even those who have questions about the authenticity of the Bible and of Christianity. Well, these are good conversations. We discuss them. It's beneficial. This trip, I'm almost here now for a month and back in North Bergen. Today is October 18th, 2014. And what I wanted to communicate was the purpose of me coming back here, or any of us going anywhere, is you want to share the good news or the gospel. And if you can use any type of discussion you have with anybody, and it transitions and segues into talking about Christianity, talking about Christ, that's the purpose. That's how you spread the message. Everybody's required to do that. On this trip, I've had some of my Texas friends, being I'm almost gone a month, text me and contact me, and when you're coming back, and I'll be back in the time I'm supposed to be back. But I want to also make this an example that this is what we're all supposed to do. Everybody is supposed to engage. Everybody's supposed to engage the culture. Everybody's supposed to communicate intelligently about the gospel, about Christianity. Be educated in some other areas, so when you have a discussion with a stock investor who's, from what I understand, this guy's also a millionaire, then he'll listen. He brought up a lot of things. He's very interested in these discussions because everybody, no matter where they're at in life, whether it's Billy, who I'll see in a few minutes, sometimes Billy's sitting here who's homeless, whether it's my friend Nick, who you see in the scooter, or whether it's Jules, who's a millionaire investor, everybody is seeking for something. And the answer ultimately is God. And even Jules today, he tells me, John, do you know, he's a smart guy, he says, do you know there's scientific evidence for the existence of God? And I said, Jules, I do a whole teaching called apologetics, which is the defense of the faith from the scientific viewpoint. So I got into Einstein, modern physics. We had a good talk, but in the end, I always try to get the conversation back to some type of witness, some type of discussion about God. So I'll do a few more of these videos. As I make this one, they're amateuristic. I'm giving away I'm blowing my cover because the way I'm videotaping this is I got my phone in my wallet, and you can see my fire department badge right there. So all the Guatemalans and everybody that see this badge and me talking, they already scattered. They think I'm an undercover cop, and I dress in black today, but that's all right because I need something to hold the phone. So, you know, that is kind of, you're getting a feel. I've been coming back now for a few years doing this, and this is the first time I'm putting some videos up. Hopefully it'll benefit you guys. Now what I'll do is I'll head over, it's 10 o'clock, I'll head over, interact by Burger King. I'll see some of the guys in the parking lot. I'll maybe take a ride with my friend Cheech. We might do a few other things because as I make this video, I'll get about a week left in North Bergen, and I'll be here a whole month when I'm done, so that's a long time. I think I'll do it every year. But every day I'm on the street trying to be active, trying to communicate, and that hopefully that'll give you a feel. Let me take this out. Hopefully this recorded. Some of them ain't working yet recorded. And that's the spot. I just left White Castle over there. I'll head down that way. And in the evening sometimes I'll come out and I'll usually walk around that whole area. That's Hudson County Park. Okay, enjoy. God bless.